All right, well, welcome to the Good Girl Unleashed podcast. I'm so excited to be here with you, Tonia. So Tonia joined me for a workshop in Otaki, and then it was our Authentic Boundaries Live program. So yeah, I'm just super excited to have you here and to hear all about your experience and what you got out of this, and for everyone else to hear about your experience as well.
Thank you for having me, Monique. As you said, we met earlier this year, and I just knew that I wanted to work further with you after the afternoon session that we'd had. And then ended up on Authentic Boundaries, which was great. And going to be doing a couple more things with you too. So
Yeah.
excited about that.
Awesome. I'm so excited to hear. I'd love to maybe just take a few moments of why you joined the workshop maybe. So we did a breathwork and sound workshop. What initially called you to delve into this work? Like, had you already been kind of doing this kind of work, or was it like brand new?
Yeah, I have done sound here, breathwork and sound healing before, quite a few times. Done some deep holotropic work, and when I saw your post, I just was really resonated to it straight away. And I honestly, it was really such an awesome afternoon. It was really delving into such a deeper part of the breath work because we had so much movement within the breath work, and you took us on such an awesome journey. And I felt when I left, I felt, what, 10 times lighter than before. And it was also the first time I've had cacao quite a few times, but it was also the first time that we'd had the cacao in that really raw state, that really bitter state. And yeah, it was just really great how it worked within the body, the mind, and the soul.
Mm. I love that because, yeah, I started to remove or put a lot less of the sweetener in our cacao, and it was really mind blowing how it shifted the journeys, and people were just able to go so much deeper because that bitterness is what really activates that taste bud, the taste buds where it can journey so much deeper within you. I've noticed it for myself, I've noticed it for so many others, and even others that maybe don't really do bitterness, where it just like, wow, it was profound. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, so then it was kind of a little bit later that you felt called to join Authentic Boundaries. So what was it that called you to join the program?
I think I listened to a couple of the other free workshops that you'd had, and then you'd mentioned that you were going to be doing this workshop, Authentic Boundaries, and I'd seen it and seen it and seen it. And as you know, I phoned you at some ridiculous late hour. I think you were about to get on an aeroplane. And I said, no, I want in, I want in. And it just came to me at the right time because I've been on the fence. And then I thought, no, I really need to work at this for myself because, firstly, I thought it was about boundaries with other people and things going on. And I had a lot of things going on at the time with anxiety and not using my voice right. And then as we discovered, it's actually about the boundaries for us, for ourselves. And wow, what a journey it has been and still being. Yeah, what you've put together is just amazing, and it's tools that I know that I'll keep going back to. Yeah, and I was just honestly, I felt it was landing really deep in my soul, and it was bringing up already the emotions of I want to know more, I want to find out more, I want to understand more about myself. And yeah, and I mean, I was amazed when you took the phone. You it took the phone call so late, and it was like, oh, and I just knew it was meant to be. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt that readiness on that call as well. Like it was just like, I know this is just what my next step on that journey. And I really loved that. Yeah, a lot of the time with boundaries, we do feel like it is toward or like towards someone else. I'm setting this boundary with you. And a lot of the work that we do, a lot of it's like it's so focused externally. And I heard this really beautiful quote. I was just reading a new book, and it's like the eye only sees itself, by Shakespeare. And so it's like we always see what's going on around us, but we don't tend to like see inside or like kind of turn that around. And it was just really enlightening for me, because I was like, yeah, it's like we tend to, I need to set a boundary with this person, I need to have this conversation with this person, but are we doing that with ourselves first? Because when we come from our heart and we do that inner work, it just makes it so much easier to actually have those conscious conversations, to speak from our heart, to set those boundaries with others, to ask for what we need, to express, like you were saying, you felt like you weren't fully expressing yourself. And yeah, how did you find, did you find the program supported that?
Oh, absolutely. The program supported it. And it's so interesting you talking about the eye only sees itself. Today I saw a quote, and I've written it down. It said, it's by Lao Tzu, and it says, knowing others is wisdom, knowing yourself is enlightenment.
Yeah.
And it's so true. And but yeah, coming back to the program, it was so easy to follow. The app that you've created and all the modules that are in there, you can just jump back into it at any time. And also, if you're really feeling off kilter, you can find one that you need. Like I love the grounding, the morning movement and grounding, and also the when we did the it's opening the heart with the voice, and
Yeah.
how we were doing humming the alphabet and doing all of those. It's just that it was crazy, and it was as I said in the group at the time, I was doing it in the car because there's no one around and you don't have to feel embarrassed or doing it. But it was interesting on how it felt after doing each of the different tones, the toning, and I found that really helped to make a difference for me to express,
Mm.
how I was feeling, or also rage on the page. That is just the best. I think all of us in the group have had fun with that. But yeah, the modules were just so easy to work with, and each week, the way it's set out, each week we were learning more,
Mm.
not only about like what you were offering in the program, but more about ourselves. And I think that the ladies in the group were still in contact with each other. We're all still learning about ourselves.
Mm.
Yeah.
I love that. And I hear that a lot. Like people are kind of raving about the app and how easy it is to use. And I love how you can just like lock the phone and just tune in with your earphones to the meditation. And it's just, it's so easy to access, just having a button to push rather than like trying to find the link and signing in. It's right there for you. And I love as well what you said about it's your lifelong toolbox. And that's what I aim to create. I don't want to just create like a course that you go through once and then you're done and you move on to the next thing. It's a lifelong toolbox where these are things you can constantly come back to and go deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's what I found, especially with because I run the Sacred Art of Loving Yourself a few times, and this was the first time I ran Authentic Boundaries. But I found with Sally, it was like people were saying how they were going back to the beginning after they'd finished, going through it all again, and it was a completely different journey. Because what happens is you go through your transformation, you're a new version of you at the end of it. When you go back, it's the new you that's going through it. So you're going to go and delve into those deeper layers. So I love what you shared about you're just learning so much about you, and it just continues. And I think what's awesome about that is it becomes really enjoyable. Like there's the saying of it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. But I remember saying that for so long and not really believing it. I really wanted the destination. I was like, yeah, kind of, I'll say the thing, but I was like, deep down, I only care about the destination. And it took me going through a lot of layers to actually be like, that finally landed for me. And it really is about the journey. And when we get to do that in community, like when we do it in groups scenarios and group settings, and we have these programs, and it's not just doing the content, it's connecting and getting to know one another and receiving that support, sharing your experiences, your ahas, your challenges, your celebrations. I find that really, really powerful. How is that for you, the community aspect?
Oh, yeah, it was great. The community aspect is great. A couple of us have been doing the buddies and keeping in touch with each other, which is great. And also, I think the further we got in the program, the more confident we all became in sharing what was coming up for us, either in that day or that week, or something that we wanted to put out there. And the other ladies had solutions to things that were coming up for us, or they had so much support as well, whatever we had just popped in there, even if it was a picture, we had lots of pictures and lots of motivation. And yeah, and I think that we'll continue to do that because we've created our own little, group there. So
Yeah.
that was great. And when you mentioned going back to the beginning, doing the breath work, the morning breath work one that's in the earlier modules, that's a different journey every time you do it. Every time you do it. And the heart de-armoring was, for me, a very, very powerful exercise as well. I really enjoyed that. I've done that. I've gone back to that at least 4 times.
I love that. It was really awesome creating that one because I finally got to like, or maybe not finally, but it was just another piece of like weaving together my different tools that I've learned along the way. So some people may know that I began my journey of like being of service through like massage. So I was doing a lot of remedial massage, but it was like there was something missing in it. Like it kind of felt like I was giving a band-aid rather than getting to the core of the thing. And I really was like, I want to delve deeper and I want to support on a greater level. And now it's like I get to weave all the tools that I've learned on the journey together and give those tools to you. So I think it was today I put a post out and it was like, something that was coming through for me when I was traveling was like when you're on the airplane, they talk about when you're in an emergency and the masks drop down, you got to put yours on first before you help anyone. And it's like, well, that's what we should be doing every day, like prioritizing our self-care so that we can show up for others and support others. But it's not about like filling ourselves up so we can give more and continue the self-sacrificing. It's more about if I take care of me and I walk the talk, I can actually show others how they can do that too. And there's that quote around, if you teach a man to fish, he's fed for a day. If you give him a man a fish, he's fed for a day. If you teach him, he's fed for life. So it's like if we're giving everything to someone, like just taking care of all their needs without actually showing them how they can meet their own needs, then they're just going to be reliant on you. So it's a really powerful journey of like learning how we can take care of ourselves, learning how to set those boundaries, how to meet our needs and to show up for ourselves in these ways so that we can actually share that with others. And so that's my intention really with the programs or whatever I'm offering is like, here's the tools, I'm going to guide you and show you how to use them and weave some different things together. And it's really, really awesome to hear about your experience and everyone else's and what really resonated.
Yeah, yeah, it's been fantastic. And coming back to the beginning, when you were chatting now, I just had this vision of like I was like the octopus and I had all my tentacles out, and all these tentacles were out sucking onto everyone else, and my octopus body was bleak and skinny and it had no resources for itself. And that's one thing that I have learned within the program is to slow down and not try and do a billion things at the same time, because that's my usual standard, trying to fit everything into one day. And doing the authentic boundaries, it's definitely taught me, no, hang on, my first part of my morning is for me. I need to ground myself first, or do my relaxation, or just even listen to the meditation before stretching out the octopus tentacle, but not, you know, they're not all out anymore. You know, my octopus is feeling a little bit more fulfilled now than,
That's so good.
before we started. And that's, you know, when you were talking about the fishing, that's exactly what I felt like. I was like, wow, yeah, I was like the octopus with everything out. And, you know, no energy was flowing into myself. All my energy was flowing outwards. Whereas now, after authentic boundaries, I find that my energy flows better for myself. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's so amazing, and it's just so good because it's like, yeah, we can rein it in, and it's like it's not that we're withholding, it's just we have those boundaries so that we can fill ourselves up and then give from that overflow, give from that abundance. But like I was saying, we don't just give and give and give. We actually guide and support others of like, well, this is what's worked for me, maybe it'll work for you too. And we share that, and I really feel like that's the way that we actually rise together, and we become self-sustainable, and we actually have the ability to respect one another and to connect on a deeper level, because we're no longer kind of like you were saying, like with the tentacles, either we're like pouring everything out, or some people are just like kind of taking it all in, and it's like it's just creating a lot of these unhealthy dynamics and these patterns where some people are just so depleted, and then some people aren't even sure how to meet their own needs. So we really need to start walking that talk. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing.
No, it's a pleasure.
Mm. So what do you feel like maybe was your biggest takeaway from this experience, or what has really changed in your life?
Wow, I've got a couple of takeaways, but I feel that slowing down has been a big takeaway for me, slowing down, and also being able to have confidence to have the bigger conversations or the icky conversations that we have to have with people every now and again. Whereas I would just sort of clamp up and never do that. And I feel that doing the program a bit, that's definitely a big takeaway for me, is that it's given me, you know, it's given me a bit more confidence to be more outspoken rather than shut down
Mm.
and not talk about it at all. Yeah, so just
Yeah.
even being on the podcast is like, yeah, something that, you know, I'm stepping out my comfort zone, but it's something that I feel I can do now, whereas I probably wouldn't have been able to do before.
Mm, that's so awesome. I'm celebrating you. That's so good.
Oh,
And I
thank
so resonate with that of like the kind of constriction in the throat, and then like having that freedom to find like, oh, I can speak. I've got that confidence. I can have those conversations. And how do you feel that that transforms your life? Like, how do you feel? Well, really, how do you feel about that? That you've now got the ability to like show up in these new ways and to express more fully.
yeah, I just feel that I can honor my emotion or my feelings there and then, and be able to say, oh, you know, that is not working for me, or oh, I can't help you right now, or
Mm,
can I get back to you on that? Because
yeah.
as I said before, I was just so giving, 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 and now it's like, okay, let me just slow down, and then I'll be able to, you know, be able to give them the right answer that they seek in, or the, you know, information that they need, but not, you know, giving it to them, I don't know, out of haste. So
Yeah.
it's more out of being mindful and thoughtful in being able to have deeper and more meaningful conversations because I've slowed myself down.
Yeah. It just sounds so freeing.
Yeah, yeah, it has. It has. As I said, it's been really life changing, and I know it's still going to continue being life changing for me. You know, it's, you know, some people go, oh, they'll probably go, wow, but there's an app, and how much time do you have? But you have forever to go
Mm,
back. Or, you know, like I say, some mornings I will do the breathing, or some mornings I'll do the grounding. So
mm.
yeah, whatever is coming up for me at that morning.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you've got this beautiful ability to tune into what you need, and then you've got your tools there, and you're like, you feel into it of like, what is it that I need today, and how can I meet that? I go to the app. It's just, yeah, making it that easy way to continue the journey, because often it's like we can get stuck of like, what should I do, what could I do? And it's like, that's what I love about just creating these beautiful toolboxes for you. um mm,
Yeah, yeah. I think it's also given me a bit more confidence to be like, oh, I'm not too, we always worry about what other people think, or, it's about other people. Whereas now I'm like, oh, I want to wear those pants. Yep, I'm feeling good. I'll wear those pants today. I'll, tie my hair up with a massive bow today because that's how I feel.
yeah.
And yeah, so I'm doing a lot more for me
Mm.
in that
Yeah,
respect.
I love, it just reminds me of the piece that you shared earlier around when you started doing like the toning and the ABCs and the different practices, just to start getting that energy moving through the throat. 'Cause so many of us are shut down there, and I know that so deeply for myself. But even just finding some different ways just to get that energy flowing and unblocking the throat. I loved how you shared that, like, oh, I do it in my car where no one can hear, and I won't feel too embarrassed. But then it's like seeing you kind of flourish in this journey, like that beautiful flower of like kind of being here, and then it's just gently opening. And yeah, we have to find ways where we feel safe, like maybe it's in the car, or maybe it's screaming into a pillow, whatever it is. But it's finding that safety in order to express, and then you find it becomes easier and easier and easier. Like you can go and wear those pants that maybe you would have initially thought, oh, what will people think? Or the big bow, or whatever it is. We tend to be like, well, we go into that almost like survival instinct of, well, someone might judge me or they might talk about me. But then it just becomes, you know what? I feel good in this. I'm choosing this for me. And then we wear it with confidence. And then it's like that energy kind of oozes, that light shines through, and people are like attracted to that light, and they're like, wow, what are you on? Like
Yeah,
I want to get on to some of that, and like I want that for me. And that's what
yeah,
I see a lot for those that I work with, is they come in with their stuff, and then as they work through those layers, you actually see the physical glow, which is really amazing. And you feel more open, which means you are able to have those deeper connections, like you were mentioning. You can have those deeper, meaningful conversations from that open space. But when we're so afraid of what people think or what they're going to say, it's just we're not able to have those deep conversations. We're too kind of putting it through that kind of all these different lenses and funnels, and like kind of chopping it here and chopping it there, and it kind of comes out, and we're like, that's not even really fully what I wanted to say. It's not even really fully me. And so when we're able to allow that to flow, the connections are just quite mind-blowing, where you can go with people and you're like, it's so nourishing.
yeah, yeah. And I think as well, I found that doing that and having some conversations, the conversations then led in a totally different direction, and then the other person is opened up completely with something else or a different subject, and you're like, whoa, okay, what's happening there? So it's like
Yeah.
they're obviously feeling more comfortable as well,
Yeah, I love
talking
that. Yeah.
conversation. Yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah,
when we're like, again, walking the talk, and we're comfortable to be ourselves, comfortable to express or to speak out, then others is like, oh, I'm safe to do that too. And it is that like big permission slip. We become the walking permission slip of, you know what, I'm doing me, I'm loving me, I'm doing this for me. And then others like, I can do that too.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Mm. Yeah, so if there's someone else that's maybe thinking about joining something, so I have different offerings and different programs and things that come about, and maybe there is someone that's feeling into, is this the right container to me for me? Is this the right space for me? Sometimes what comes up is like, it's the time factor, or um, am I worthy of investing in myself? Like, we can have these different things arise, and like, is this going to work for me? So I just want to invite you to tune into your heart, and if there's anything that you would like to share to anyone that might be thinking about jumping in.
Yeah, you are so worth it. You are worth every cent you're going to put in or pay out to just invest in yourself, invest in your own energy, invest in becoming a newer version of you or a better version of you or just discovering you. I'd say to them, yeah, just watch. Monique's got so many free masterclasses that she's got out there. Just watch one of those and see how that lands, and just, yeah, be a bit more curious to find out how can it help me. And as I said, I was drawn to it, left it to the 95th hour, and just after we'd had that conversation, I just knew it was going to be worth every cent that I'd invested.
Mm.
And it still is. It really is, because now I've got a lifetime of stuff that I can just tap into, or if I'm feeling low, just boost me up. Yeah, so I would say to anyone, if you are on the fence, honestly, just watch one of the free masterclasses, and yeah, go from there, or come and join us in one of the other groups, because it's well worth it. It's 100%. Yeah, yeah. Monique makes, and you create such a beautiful space for us
Mm.
as well. In those weeks that we were all together every week on the lives, you make such a beautiful space, and everyone just felt so held. So yeah,
Thank you so much. I so appreciate your time and sharing your experience, and yeah, it was truly a beautiful journey, and I can't wait to continue this journey together.
yeah. Thank you for inviting me onto the podcast. And yeah, I know that we'll definitely be doing a couple more programs together. So
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so much.
much.
Thank you.